that. We understand what the stakes are. Now it's on us to respond.
We're going to have to even be better next game if we expect to have our season continue.
All right, approaching the bottom of the hour. Knicks beat the Pacers last night in Game 5, forcing a Game 6, keeping their season alive. Tyrese Haliburton had one of the great games ever in Game 4. Jay will show us here why it is that he did not follow that up last night.
Well, Greeny, the way the Pacers like to play, they like volume, number of possessions, right? Because they can play faster. But when you slow them down, when you apply some pressure on Tyrese Haliburton, because he pushes the ball up there, makes and misses, all of a sudden you decrease the number of possessions in the game, and you force Indiana to be efficient in the half court, which they're not an efficient team in the half court. So let's watch some of this just basic ball pressure, right? Obviously, a guy like Haliburton, we said it before, wants to play this way. Fast. He wants to go up and down the court. What you're going to see off this play is just a little bit of ball pressure where you're going to have him work side to side. And the big thing to pay attention to is the shot clock, 23 seconds, okay? Because the majority of their points are scored in 12 seconds or less. So just Mikal Bridges applying great pressure, and just look at this part right here. Now, he comes over from the weak side and he helps. We're not going to show the full play, okay? But also, the thing to pay attention to, 17 seconds. You've made them use 7 seconds just to get the ball up the court, which kind of takes away from their efficiency, forcing them to be a half-court team. Next play, because they don't end up scoring on this play. Once again, soft the ball pressure.
Look at it all.
Mikal Bridges,
50 feet from the basket.
50 feet, just working them side to side, working them side to side, working them side to side. Gets the ball in hand. By the time Nembhard catches the ball, once again, look right here. 15 seconds here, okay? 15 seconds down here. Sorry, the thing was messing up. But still, forcing you to use 9 seconds off of the shot clock to get into your half court. Once again, making them a half court team, not fast paced. Don't score in that possession as well. Once again, great ball pressure, just working them side to side, working them side to side. I'm gonna keep bringing this up, guys. Little things, 17 seconds, right? Just making use another 7 seconds to get the ball up the court. And that's the end of the tape. But Greeny, the biggest point here is that last night, points per possession, right? They were 0.74 points per possession in this game. Last game, 1.19. That's a drastic difference.
Oh, yeah.
Game 1 and game 2, over 1 point. When you force them to be a half-court team, they're not as effective.
Well, I mean, the Pacers scored 130 points the other night. They scored 90-something last night.
Right.
That's obviously an enormous difference. The Knicks' level of defensive intensity was extraordinarily different. And by the way, speaking of intensity, let me mention that at ESPN Bet Sportsbook, the Pacers are now 3.5-point favorites in Game 6 tomorrow night in Indy. They're minus 375 favorites to win the series. The Knicks are at plus 290 to complete the comeback. So that doesn't all sound very good for New York. But Charles Barkley, after the game, had these thoughts and a warning in Game 6.
The Pacers still in control, but I will say this.
Say it. Say it.
Boy,
say it.
If
they don't win Game 6,
they're going to come back to New York. It is a must-win for the Pacers.
Wow.
Because if they come back here, they're going to get another ass kicking like they did tonight.
It's fascinating. No one knows Charles better than you do. That's an interesting perspective for him to have in a series and a postseason in general, where A, home court advantage doesn't ever feel like it really has meant almost anything.
No.
And B, this series, every game has been so unusual.
But that's the beauty of playoff basketball.
Right.
It's back and forth. Somehow we've gotten too much observing this into perceiving that there ought to be some great consistency. There isn't. The push and pull of playoff basketball is up one day, down the other. You today, him tomorrow. That's what it is. So Charles has been in these series. I remember a series when Charles Barkley was in the finals. Michael Jordan had like back-to-back 50s, and yet Phoenix wound up coming back in that series and getting it to 3-2 and making the Bulls win a Game 6 in Phoenix. So even the great players, but only the great players, consistently deliver 4 or 5 great performances in one series. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, that was the Bulls were up 3-1 in a 2-3-2. The Bulls had the 3 in the middle.
And it won the first 2 in Phoenix.
And the Suns won Game 5, and that was the famous "We saved your city" and all. So the point was the Suns won that game and got to go home for 2 more. The Pacers are the home court tomorrow night. Wendy, I've got 2 different perspectives working here this morning. I got Fortenbaugh telling me that was a predictable laying of an egg, go heavy on the Pacers tomorrow night. I got Charles telling me the Pacers better win tomorrow night or they're going to get blown out in Game 7. How do you see it?
Well, remember that the Pacers are designed to outlast their opponents the deeper a series goes. So part of what the Pacers' strategy, not necessarily that they were wanting to give away Game 5, was exhaust the Knicks and then come back with more energy in Game 6. But I will say this, they have not been in this situation before. The Pacers have had a lot of playoff success the last 2 years, thriving as the underdog. This is a new experience for them. They will go into this game Saturday night with the expectation from everybody in the NBA and their fans that they will win and go to the first finals in 25 years. How will they react to that? Maybe they'll be terrific. Maybe all of their actions will get back to their normal and they will have their high-speed game and they'll win and they'll be in Oklahoma City next week. But I don't know about them. I have not seen them deal with this particular situation, and they did not deal with the opportunity given to them last night the best. I'll just say that.
As far as wearing the Knicks down, Alan, you know this team as well as anybody. I'm looking at the minutes. Jalen Brunson played under 34 minutes. So did Mikal Bridges. Karl Anthony Towns played 36. Anunoby 34. They didn't play those 42 minutes that we sometimes see the Knicks play. Does that feel like advantage New York going to tomorrow night?
It's something that you're seeing the evolution in this series is that Tom Thibodeau has had to change some things. And one of the things he's doing is playing 10 guys now. He is going to his bench and he's getting a lot of minutes and production. It might not be in points, but it certainly isn't defense. They were chanting Landry Shamit's name last night at Madison Square Garden. Like, that's all you need to know.
Not sure they knew who he was.
So the battle of attrition was certainly early in the series being won by Indiana. The Knicks had to make that adjustment. They went to their bench. They're getting defensive production off the bench. That's why they feel like this series doesn't look the same as it did in the first two games.
Guys, I firmly believe in Jalen Brunson to show up in really big moments because he's proven that. I think this Game 6 really comes down to Karl Anthony Towns and who he is. If he's going to be the player that's going to be aggressive, they are effectively a better team when he's on the court. When he's off the court, it allows a lot more spacing. I know Mitchell Robinson's still a really good defender, but it makes him more one-dimensional. And those spouts, second quarter, it's essentially Karl Anthony Towns putting on the show with four other reserve players.
Or defensive guys.
That carries the load, because that's the advantage. But can he stay out of foul trouble?
Ooh.
Do you trust Karl Anthony Towns?
You can't give away a couple of silly ones.
To stay out of foul trouble, to remain on the court down the stretch? That's a major question.
One other question. The Pacers, Rick Carlisle's got something up his sleeve. And this is when you spring it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a deep roster, a varied roster, a roster which is adaptable, right? It's nimble. And so when you talk about the long game, and Brian referred to that, and that's how many times have the Pacers, Alan, talked about 13 days? 13 days. They didn't come into this thinking knockout. They're not Mike Tyson, and they know who they are.
Right.
So yes, two things can be, more than one thing can be true. Charles is right. The Pacers better win Game 6. They're counting on 6. By the way, the Pacers, some of us are old enough, one of us at this table, who's seen the Pacers win Game 7 in New York.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, that's
so
by the way,
the long game.
30th anniversary.
Yeah.
And how did that series begin? A Game 1, Reggie went 8 points in 8.9 seconds, stole Game 1 at the Garden, flipped that series, and the Knicks had to chase that the rest of the way. Very similar story. The Knicks did force a Game 7, got it back. 3-1 deficit, got it to a 7. Patrick Ewing had a chance to win it.
I was going to say, let's burn this tape before Patrick can see anything.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, but
still,
my
friend Patrick knowing.
But it's the only time. 10 times the Pacers have had a 3-1 series lead. It's the only time a team has forced a Game 7. So the history of this rivalry continues.
But Mike, I think you're going to see in Game 6 a lot more screens by Miles Turner in the backcourt.
Absolutely.
You didn't see it one time.
They got to help Haliburton.
Because Haliburton plays better when he goes downhill and they have 4-on-3s. You can do that when you set a hard screen. It creates that advantage.
For sure.
They didn't do that one time in Game 5. Not once.
Wendy, am I oversimplifying it to say that Tyrese Haliburton is sort of the temperature gauge here? When he's brilliant, they win, and when the Knicks figure him out a little bit, advantage New York?
Yeah, I mean, one thing about Haliburton, he does lay eggs. I mean, this was his 13th game this season where he scored in single digits. He had a game in the last round against the Cavs where he had a 4-point game, actually. He's had a lower scoring game than this. In those 13 games, the Pacers are 3-10. When he scored over 20, they were like 30-3. So it's not just that what's his scoring, it's what leads to his scoring, which is usually high-speed basketball, turnovers, easy baskets. One usually goes with the other for Indiana.
All right, so one team had a chance to close out a series last night and didn't. Another team had a...
What's your favorite team? Comment below, and if you liked the video, please leave a like. This really helps the channel grow and brings you even more content. Oh, and if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button and activate the bell to receive all notifications. With each game, we notice that the NBA is getting more competitive every day, and all the teams are looking for reinforcements to win the championship. And only here can you follow your favorite team daily with incredible content from different sources. Here on the channel, there are new videos every day with analysis, curiosities, and the best moments in basketball. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for following along. The NBA doesn't stop, and neither do we. Until the next video. NBA, the passion that connects us.